spoiling my video. Steady. Oh, it feels like an ice cave. I like it, it's cozy. So the temperatures in the greenhouse last night got down to -3 degrees. Your plants probably look like they've got the ump a little bit. Please don't worry, I'm going to give you just a very quick science lesson so you can understand what's going on. Stand in front of the ranunculus because you can probably see that they're looking a little bit droopy this morning. Now, what happens when water freezes, as you probably know, when you put anything in the freezer, that water expands on the freezing process. So the water, ordinarily in plant cells, the water in the cells as they freeze expands and it shatters the plant cells, and that's why plants can die. It absolutely depends on the plant variety. But some plants, the ones that we've started, are adapted in several ways, and that adaptation can take them down to lower and lower temperatures, again, depending on the plant. Now, the first one, and this is the reason why you mustn't mother your plants. Plants are smart and they can sense the temperatures are starting to drop. So what they'll do is they'll start accumulating extra sugars within their plant cells, the plant cells that freeze. They'll accumulate extra sugars, and those extra sugars act as antifreeze, lowering the temperature at which the plant cells will freeze. This doesn't work on your half-hardy plants, which is why we've gone nowhere near sowing them. They won't take any kind of freezing because a lot of those have been adapted to cope with hot temperatures, which is the opposite. So you have to make sure that you only apply this theory to your hardy plants. The other thing that plants can do, and you can see that by the fact that the ranunculus have gone a bit droopy, is what they can do is they can allow some of the water that was in the cells to leak out. So there's less water in the cells. So when it freezes and it expands, it doesn't shatter the cells because the cells were not full. This is a really good example of where the plant has allowed some of the water to escape from the cells so that the cells don't expand and shatter when they freeze. As a result, the plant's looking a little bit droopy, but as soon as the temperatures rise later on, the plant will recover and be back to its perky self. By far and away, and this is the reason why we don't plant our ranunculus outside, by far and away the most damage that we get from ranunculus is the fact that if they're outside, the frost will touch them and that tends to burn the leaves and really damage them. So that's the reason why they're in the greenhouse, and how come that they can survive quite cold temperatures if they're protected, but if you put them outside, they're very vulnerable indeed. I've got a picture here from a follower from last year where they left their ranunculus out in the very cold weather, and can you see those brown markings on the leaves? That is caused by the frost touching them. But had that pot been left inside the greenhouse with the protection over the top so the frost didn't touch them, then they would have been fine. Of course, other adaptations which will help with the freezing process for plants during the winter, such as hairy leaves, for example, or less water content in their leaves. You can compare your ranunculus and your anemones, and the anemones are much more hardy than the ranunculus are. But hopefully that's enough to just allay your fears, put your mind at rest. And although the plants might look a little bit cold this morning, hopefully they'll perk up no end as soon as the temperatures start to rise this afternoon. Right, it's back indoors for me. I think I need a cup of tea.